Baking soda is one of the best home remedies with an incredible number of possible applications. In this video I show you 8 possible uses for baking soda that hardly anyone knows, but everyone should. Let's start with number 1. If you have weeds between the joints, you can use baking soda wonderfully for this. Just take some of the powder and spread it exactly where the weeds are. Then you just have to wet it a little bit. I use a sprayer like this and wet the whole thing. The soda dissolves and disappears into the soil. This way it directly attacks the roots of the weeds. And after a few days you can see that the weeds where I used the baking soda are completely dried up and dead. That means you only have to sweep it out and then it should be gone and not come back for a while, because even the root has been damaged. Make sure however that you not bring any other plants into contact with the baking soda, otherwise they will of course also die. The second possibility is to use baking soda in the litter box. Baking soda binds bad odors, so it's great to use in the litter tray if you don't want it to smell bad again as soon as the cat has been to the toilet. Just put the cat litter in your litter tray as normal, and all you need afterwards is the baking soda. For a normal litter tray I put 2 to 3 heaped tablespoons of the baking soda directly into the litter. Once you've put it in, you just have to stir it in so that it's really mixed in with the litter. In the end, you shouldn't be able to see the baking soda with the naked eye. It is also completely harmless for cats. They won't even notice it. But when the cat goes to the toilet now, you will quickly notice that it doesn't smell as bad as it might have otherwise. The cat's droppings are therefore much less noticeable than before. Therefore you should try it out the next time you change the cat litter. Of course, you should still regularly remove the cat's droppings from the litter tray itself, as it is much more pleasant for the cat. This brings us to trick number 3. Here we mix baking soda with another ingredient, namely a conventional tea, because both things in combination have incredible benefits for carpets. But first you should mix a good amount of baking soda with 2 to 3 tea bags. Which tea you use is up to you. You can also use any fruit tea that smells really nice. Now mix the two together properly, and then we have to apply it to the carpet. You can do this by hand, with a spoon, or with one of these spreaders. I like to do it with this because it's much easier to spread. So I put the mixture into this spreader and then we can go to the carpet. I'm sure you know the problem that carpets start to smell at some point, especially if something has spilled here and there. Then it quickly happens that the carpet no longer smells so pleasant. You can remove the stains, but it is much more difficult to get the smell out of the carpet. But that's exactly what baking soda is good for, because as I mentioned earlier, it binds bad odors. So now I sprinkle a good amount of the baking soda mixture on my carpet. The next step is to let it soak in for a while. In the best case, you leave it on your carpet for at least 10 to 12 hours. When the time is up, you just have to vacuum it thoroughly. Afterwards you will notice that the carpet no longer smells unpleasant. Thanks to the tea, it even smells much fresher and more pleasant than before. If you don't have any baking soda at home, you can get it from my shop. The link is below in the video description. This brings us to trick number 4, namely the lines on the walls, because you certainly know them too. Somewhere you bang on the wall, hit it with some object, and there is an ugly black or dark line on the wall. You can also use baking soda for this. To remove these marks, simply mix baking soda with a small amount of water. You should end up with a paste like this, because this is exactly what we need to remove the line from the wall. So go to your wall, grab another rag and put a small amount of it on the rag. Now you should carefully rub it over the exact spot where the line is on the wall. It's best to do this very carefully and see how your wallpaper reacts. In most cases, however, this works without any problems. And afterwards you can see that the line is as good as removed. You may not get the whole line off, but most of it should be gone, all thanks to a little baking soda and water. Do you suffer from nail fungus? This is actually very difficult to get under control. Of course, there are some remedies, but they are usually very expensive. Instead, you can simply use baking soda, because baking soda also helps to get nail fungus under control. However, it takes some time until the whole thing disappears. What you should do is take a foot bath with baking soda. Put water in a bowl that fits your feet. then add about 30 to 40 grams of baking soda. Put your feet in it, mix it a little, and then leave your feet in the foot bath for at least 20 to 30 minutes. This will attack the nail fungus, which should then disappear over time and simply grow out. It is important that you do this regularly. That means you should repeat this treatment at least 3 to 5 times a week. When the time is up, you can simply come out with your feet. Rub them a little dry and let the rest air dry. Over time you should notice that the nail fungus continues to disappear. You can also use baking soda perfectly in your drain, especially if it doesn't drain so well or even smells bad, because we can fix both of these things directly with baking soda. In my case, you can see that the drain doesn't drain as it should. It takes time, the water stands for some time and then at some point it's gone. To fix it now, I grab some baking soda. I tip 30 to 40 grams of baking soda directly into the drain. After that, we then need one more ingredient to make the whole thing work really wonderfully, well and simply, and that's vinegar. We now add some vinegar. 200 to 300 milliliters should be enough. The two react together immediately. It starts foaming strongly and you should hear it very strongly too. Leave it on for 20 to 30 minutes and then rinse again with really hot water. Now run the tap for at least 2 to 3 minutes. You will quickly notice that the water now flows off much better, and because baking soda also helps against bad odors, the drain should now absolutely no longer stink if it did before. You can kill two birds with one stone, so to speak. Of course, you can also use baking soda to make your whole flat smell really nice. Besides baking soda, you need a few more other ingredients. Grab any bowl that you want to put down. Fill it almost to the top with baking soda. Then you also need cloves, because they also give off a really nice smell. Put some of the cloves on top of the baking soda. And last but not least, you need an essential oil of your choice, because the essential oil makes it smell really nice. So choose a scent that you really like to smell. Now add a few drops of the essential oil on top. Then the whole thing is ready and you can just put it anywhere in your home, and it's a really nice homemade room scent. If you have cats, you can also put some aluminum foil on top and make small holes with a toothpick. This way you can make sure that your cats don't get too close to the baking soda and possibly inhale it. Now you can place the whole thing, as I said, in the flat, and it should always smell really nice and pleasant. When the scent starts to fade, you can add a few drops of essential oil on top. This brings us to the last trick with baking soda. We put baking soda in our shoes, but not just like that. We prepare the whole thing a little beforehand. And grab a normal household cloth for this. Now put a good amount of baking soda in the middle, and then we should close the cloth, because we don't want to just tip the baking soda into the shoes, otherwise we would have to vacuum it out later. Now grab all four corners, wrap them together at the top, twist the whole thing in a bit so that you have made a bag like this. To prevent the bag from opening, you can fix it at the top with a rubber band or something else. Then the whole thing should hold really well. And it's ready. You can also prepare several of them now and just put them aside, because that way you can always take one out when you need it and use it for your shoes or for your visitors' shoes if they smell bad. Because all you have to do now is put one of these baking soda bags in your shoe, preferably one in each shoe, and then just leave them in here overnight. The next morning you can remove them and you should definitely notice that the shoes no longer smell bad, because the baking soda has now absorbed all the bad smells and your shoes should now smell pleasantly fresh again, as if they were new. Remember to follow the link in the video description if you don't have any baking soda at home. Would you also like to know which 9 things almost everyone always does wrong? Then be sure to watch the video I'm linking to you here.